Here. Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's live lesson. Today, we're going to be looking at signposting. Signposting, okay? I'm sure you've all seen signposts all over the place, and you know exactly what they're for. But we're looking at signposting in essays, in writing your essay. Why do you need that in your essay, you wonder? Let's think of your essay as a kind of journey. You're going on a journey, and the journey goes from the introduction through to the conclusion. You are the driver of this trip on the journey because you're the writer, and the readers are your passengers on the journey. But sometimes some of the passengers doze off to sleep, don't they? They go to sleep and then they wake up with a fright and wonder, where am I? How did I get here? What's going on? And this is sometimes what happens when your reader is reading your essay, because the writer hasn't clearly signposted where that essay is heading. So it is a bit like driving on a journey. Signposting means using words to tell your reader about the content of the essay, rather than just talking about the content itself, because that's really just facts, statistics, and opinions. Now, you must use signposting words to help the reader understand things as clearly as possible. Right, let's look at this example. If I say, in order to explain the causes of something, then this helps the reader because now he knows in advance you're going to be talking about some theories or explanations. If I say in an essay there are several ways about something or other, then the reader knows that there's going to be at least 2 points coming through that you're going to be writing about. If you're in another paragraph and you say another issue is, it reminds the reader that one issue is already being discussed and now you're going to talk about another one. And finally, if you say this essay explores theoretical approaches, then the reader knows there's going to be a theory coming up. So basically, your essay is a journey through your argument or discussion. Your paragraphs are stepping stones in that journey. Don't worry if your essay, they indicate what will happen, remind them of where they have been, and there's going to be key points along the way, and they show the direction your essay is finally going to take. Right, let's take a look at something in writing. Let's see if we can share this document. This one is good. We'll do that. Right. Signposting explained. And there's a picture of a signpost. If you're traveling through a road on your bike or in a vehicle, you need to know which road to take. There's plenty of roads, plenty of directions, and you have to know which one to take, as we just said. Right. Signposting means using words and phrases that steer your reader without difficulty through your essay. You could say there's 2 types of signposting. Major signposts, which are used in introductions, opening phrases, outlining a main argument, ensuring you are keeping in the right direction of the argument, of your paragraphs and conclusions. Okay, and the second type of signposting is just linking words and phrases. And these are just connecting words that help guide the reader through the argument by linking ideas, sentences, and paragraphs. So even though you've been writing your essay and it's just really the plot of what happens, it doesn't read so well as if you can use signposting words, because that makes you look as if you know what you're doing when you use them. You know where you're going. You've had an essay plan. Do you remember the essay plan? Let's take a quick look at an essay plan. Okay, here we've got an essay plan, and this is what your essay plan should look like before you start writing your essay. You've got your main part of the plan, that's the title, that's the whole task that you're going to do. So you think of your introduction, your main arguments, your counter arguments, and your conclusion. So you could write a very short, factual little essay about that, and it wouldn't be so nice, would it? So what we need to do is we say we're going to get marks if we add in similes, metaphors, personification, or onomatopoeia. So you should write some of the words to do with that, whatever topic you're looking at, in a box here at the top. Okay, you can do that quite easily. Look up synonyms in particular, so you don't keep on saying the same thing. Okay, you can also do some phrases that you would like to use in the essay, more phrases you would like to use, because remember you've got your argument or counter argument. And remember, when you say the word an argumentative essay, it's the same as a persuasive essay. They both mean the same thing. Okay, so this is what you're still going to have to do. You're also going to be doing research, looking up some statistics and facts, maybe had some more facts and opinions. Some facts you might have a strong opinion about or a strong opinion against. On top of that, you're going to have your sentences, your topic sentence 2 for your second paragraph, topic sentence 3. One of them is going to be your counter argument. And the most important things that we're talking about today are signposting words. This is just a list of words that you might be able to use in your essay. It doesn't matter if you don't use them, at least you've got them there. Contrasting words, words to add more information, connectors between paragraphs, very important, more signposting words. Okay, if you have done a list of all this and made your essay plan, you just need to start writing about the topic, and you've got everything at your fingertips. You don't have to stop, start, and wonder what's going on there. No, everything's right there. No worries for latecomers. You can always ask me for this paperwork later. Okay, let's go back to the beginning where we were talking about signposting. Right, what is a signpost word or phrase? What does it actually mean? A signpost word or phrase is used in formal writing to connect clauses and sentences, just so the reader then knows what kind of information to expect. Okay, some of the most common signposting words and phrases are, these are ones that are very, very common. Accordingly, for instance, in brief, in short, nonetheless, therefore. You can see them all here for yourselves. You can put them down onto your little list of common signposting words, because the more of these that you can use in your essay, the more smoothly your essay is going to read, and the better you are going to look, because it means you're in charge. You are the driver. You can use those words because you've got to persuade or argue your points. Okay? So everything must be connected. Connect, connect, connect. That's paragraph upon paragraph. Okay? Now, is there any difference between connectors, linking words, signposting, sentence correctors? There is actually not that much difference. Okay? In general, linking words, conjunctions, and connectors describe the relationship between two statements. But to be a little bit grammatical, grammatically speaking, conjunctions join two sentences to make one sentence. Linkers are the words that connect one sentence or idea with another one. They are a way to ensure there's a logical connection inside your sentence. Okay. Connectors are used inside either short or long sentences and may be separated from a previous idea by a semicolon. We did look at colons and semicolons the other day. If you're still not sure, send me a web chat message and I'll send you the info. Connectors are very similar to coordinating and subordinating conjunctions. Note that a comma must follow a connector if it is the first word in a sentence. Okay, that's your punctuation part of this. Make sure you know when to use the comma. Right, here are some linking words that you can use in argumentative or persuasive writing. And why would we use them? Using linking or transition words to signpost your arguments can help clarify your view. If you don't know what it is, how can you tell other people? So make sure in your plan you have made decisions, okay, about which side you're going to be for or against. It also shows the reader what to expect from certain paragraphs or sentences. These words give a structure to your whole argument, and it helps you organize your ideas, and it also assists the reader in understanding them. Okay, so here are quite a few words, but they're very good in this order. If you're describing similarities between things, you could use words like correspondingly, equally, in the same way, likewise, not only but also similarly. Okay, cause and effect. In other words, why and because. You could use words like accordingly, as a result, because of course, consequently, for this reason, etc. Clarification and emphasize. You're trying to clarify something and emphasize it because you want to persuade your reader around to your way of thinking. So you use more positive words like definitely, especially, inevitably, obviously, particularly, and of course you've got second, first, second, third, you know, because sometimes there's got to be, remember, 3 examples to clarify, to illustrate, and typically. These are the type of words you need for clarification and emphasis. Now, if we're comparing and contrasting things, you would then use alternatively, conversely, however, instead, on the contrary, whereas, and yet. So that's particularly to be used in your counter-argument paragraph, okay? Contradictions and exceptions. If you contradict yourself, you're going to say the exact opposite thing, okay? So again, that can also be to do with your counter-argument. You could say, admittedly, global warming may have happened before, although, despite, however, nonetheless, etc. You have to prove something. You're using kind of words that mean that. You say because, evidently, for this reason, inevitably, that sort of thing. Getting things in the right order, okay, that's very important. Otherwise, everything is muddled up and confusing. There's no way your reader will understand you. Previously, following this, finally, initially, subsequently. Words like that keep order inside your paragraphs or between paragraphs. If you're repeating something, referring back to something, or maybe even just emphasizing it, you can use as has been mentioned, as previously discussed, as indicated, as noted, as specified, as stated. So you've got a whole lot you can use there. And finally, if you're writing your conclusion so that everybody knows it's the end of your argument and you're wrapping it up, as can be seen from the above. As described, finally, given the above, in conclusion, it can be concluded that ultimately. So there is a whole bunch of words. If you wrote them out just one time or had a copy of this, you hardly need to find any other signposting or linking words because these are the ones most used. Going on a bit further, what is a conjunction? Is there a difference between a conjunction, a connector, a connecting word, a linker? They're all very, very similar. They're all signposting words. Conjunctions link other words, phrases, or clauses. Okay, and there are three types of conjunctions: coordinating, subordinating, and correlative. Okay. What are coordinating conjunctions? They connect two words, phrases, or two sentences. Okay, two sentences, or even two dependent clauses. Remember, we said the other day there's only 7 coordinating conjunctions in the whole English language, and the acronym, also known as fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet. So these are the words you use to join your sentences generally. Here's one joining two words, Jack and Jill. Okay, two phrases. The dog ran across the road and into the neighbor's garden. Joining the two sentences. A few children did their homework and others played sports. Okay, so there you've got your coordinating conjunction. What is a subordinating conjunction? Connects two groups of words, but makes one into a subordinate clause, which acts like an adverbial clause and usually answers the question why or when about the main clause, because sentences will have a main clause and a subordinate clause. For example, I can go to lunch after my work is finished. So there's your main clause, I can go to lunch, and there's your subordinate clause, which answers the question when. Since I forgot to bring any money, I could not go to lunch. So there is your main clause, and there's your subordinate clause, which answers the question why. I could not buy lunch. Why? Well, I forgot to bring any money. Here's another one. It's the same. If you do my homework, I will give you 20 Rand. And that's like a conditional. Here's your main clause. I will give you 20 Rand. And there's your subordinate clause. Begins with your connecting words or conjunctions in this case, although they can also be adverbial conjunctions. The final one, Dad refused to let me watch TV. Although I had finished my chores, is your subordinate clause. There's your main clause. Dad refused to let me watch TV, although I finished my chores. So there was something that's a bit in opposition. So you could use the word although. All right, another thing to note about subordinating connectives. Note that the subordinating connectives are generally used to indicate the following: time, manner, place, contrast, and reason. Okay, so that's when you use your subordinating connective. I mean, if you don't put it in, it just looks like you've got some sort of sentence fragment hanging up in the air. It should be a whole new sentence if you do it that way. So you've got to be careful. So you using these words, here's ones for time, after, before, until, whenever, while, etc. Manner, how things were done, slowly, quickly, quietly, unusually. Where was something done? At the place, in the distance, between, among, behind. Again, your contrasting ones, which are very important. Whereas, whilst, while, in spite of, regardless, except, so that, conversely, alternatively. These words you're using to contrast something. It's not really very good if you just start off straight away with the main clause. You're not pointing the reader in any direction. And the last one, why, reasons. because, since, as a result of, accordingly. You'll see sometimes they're in 2 or 3 places because you can use them like that. So the subordinating conjunction or connectives are used for all these things. Okay. And the third one we said was the correlative conjunction, which are used in pairs, and they join sentence elements of similar importance. For example, we're talking about both and, neither nor, either or, not only but also. Those are the most common ones that you would really expect to know about. Here's some examples. Both my brother and my sister ate their breakfast this morning. Neither Jack nor Jill could climb up the hill. I am not only going to watch a movie, but also have dinner after work. Okay. Note that conjunctions cannot stand alone. They join parts of sentences just like a jigsaw puzzle fitting pieces together. So, you can't just write anything from fanboys and expect it to stand alone, all right? They cannot stand alone. Right, so let's take a quick look at that again. The conjunction. Conjunctions link words, phrases, or clauses, and there's 3 types of conjunctions: coordinating, subordinating, and correlative. Okay, coordinating conjunction, only 7 of them, which are fanboys. You can easily remember them. And you've got the subordinating conjunction, connects 2 groups of words, makes one into a subordinate clause. So you've got a main clause and a subordinate clause. And the subordinate clause is a bit like an adverbial clause because it answers certain questions like why, when, where, etc. Time, manner, place, contrast, reason, in other words. Then finally, the correlative conjunctions used in pairs. If you don't use them in pairs, you get something wrong. Remember, you've also got to identify these things in some of your progression tests and use them properly. And that's why we're looking at the kind of things we look at generally to help you pass your exams and tests. Right, just go back to linking words used in argumentative or persuasive writing, which is exactly the same thing. Arguing or persuading someone to do something. And it's really just to help you clarify your views, describing similarities, cause and effect, clarification and emphasis, comparing and contrasting, contradiction or exceptions, proving something, order of things, repeating or referring back, concluding. If you have a list like this, as I say, you never need to make any other list. Oh gosh, someone is very late now, but not to worry. Not to worry. So connecting things, very, very important. You must signpost where you're going with your essay. Now we've been looking at mainly all the linking and connectors. Let's look one more time at the end here, which is how are paragraphs linked together? How do you link a paragraph? Well, a new paragraph must be linked back in some way to what's happened before in your essay in the previous paragraph. So linking or signposting words need to be used. This is to ensure your argument is built up slowly and logically. Okay, you can't just blab everything out in one sentence. It's got to be organized and planned properly. Reinforcement of the previous idea. We could use the word further. A further example of this phenomenon can be seen in the work of Voltaire, for example. Another way you can use further, Fontaine further demonstrates this idea in his latest research. Okay, so that's reinforcing the previous idea in the paragraph before. Okay, contrasting your ideas. The prisoner, on the other hand, expressed his crime as self-defense. This argument, however, is not feasible at all. So there you've got your connectors and what we think about it. Okay, the prisoner, on the other hand, even if that's his personal view, that's showing the reader it's the prisoner's view, not yours. But this argument, however, that's obviously referring to the person who's writing, it's not feasible. Then finally, we've got set concession, to concede, to, although his idea was interesting, it was just not acceptable. While he emphasized that self-defense was not murder, the opposite view was taken by the rest of the jury. Okay, so we've got although and while in those paragraph linkers. Let's look again at what your essay plan should look like. Okay, you've got your main topic in the middle. What's it going to be about? In this case, zoos. The introduction, you're going to say whether you're pro or anti, for or against zoos. What's your main argument going to be? And what's your counter argument going to be? And what's your conclusion going to be? You should have this in your essay plan before you start. And of course, in line with those arguments and introductions, you're going to have topic sentences. You need to write that. Topic sentence 1 for the first paragraph, 2 for the second one, and 3 for the third paragraph. And 4th paragraph will be your conclusion, obviously. Okay. On top of that, you've done research, you've got some statistics and facts. And you might have also found some facts and opinions, facts with opinions you can give your opinion of and persuade the reader to your way of thinking. And then, of course, along the bottom line, you could have all your connectors, contrasting words for those counter arguments, connectors between paragraphs, you can just pick them up and write them, signposting words for your sentences, get them into your sentence somewhere. Okay, and look, your whole essay is just about written already. That's the thing to remember. Okay, your main topic, you've got useful vocabulary to do with the topic, similes, metaphors, personification, and onomatopoeia. We did look at figures of speech, so hopefully you remember those. You can write them all down, ones you think you might use, and then everything, even phrases to use in your sentences. Okay, perhaps ones that are very emotive and make people feel emotionally for or against something. Anyway, it looks like our time is running out. So thank you very much for joining us, everyone, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Okie dokie.